Hi, my name is Elena, and today I will demonstrate to you how Affinity Triangle is used to create your branding strategy. The way your clients see you is clearly very important, but even more important is knowing what exactly it is that is making them buy from you. So let's look at how Affinity Triangle can help you figure that out and communicate that to your clients. So there's a few pieces of a puzzle. First of all, we need to understand that buying is a form of communication. It is an exchange of values. It's a pretty high level of communication. It's higher than just, recognizing you or seeing your message or even giving you feedback. It's much higher. So that means it requires a pretty high level of common reality and affinity. So let's look again at the Affinity Triangle. If you haven't seen the other video about Affinity Triangle, you can check it out from here. So remember, we have this right triangle. It has affinity at the top, communication, and common reality at the bottom. The right triangle, so one grows, all the rest of them are growing, or if one is getting destroyed, then all the rest of them are getting destroyed. So common reality means like a common ground where you can understand and relate to each other, and you can agree about something. Communication is any kind of exchange of values, actually. And affinity is the way you feel about someone, how closely you want to be next to them. So fear, anger, not caring about anybody. It's all different levels of affinity. It's just lower ones than loving, liking, appreciating, and all the other good ones that are rising more to the top. So, of course, as a company, you want to experience high levels of affinity from your customers, therefore them being more likely to buy from you. So you want them not to just like your product, you want them to love your brand. Of course, for some levels of buy, you don't need high level of affinity. For example, if it's salt, if it's not a differentiated product, I don't care, I'm still gonna buy it because I need salt. I don't care about what brand I'm buying it. But then we're not really talking about the branding strategy. So anytime we're talking about a special product, we're talking about a brand, and they better love it. All right, so how do you do it using Affinity Triangle? So we know in order to trigger a high level of communication, which is a buy, we need a high level of affinity and high level of common reality. You get it? So in order for them to buy from you, they need to feel more like you. And you need to communicate to them in human terms and as often as possible. So you need your brand to be human. It needs to have Twitter, Facebook, just like a real person, YouTube, website, and whatever you can get and whatever you can produce. And you have to post on your Facebook once a day, twice a day on your Twitter, once a week on your YouTube or your blog or your website. And you're gonna tell me, who's got that kind of time? I understand. But investing time into this is better because it's gonna save you from giving deep discounts or using conventional advertising, which is, we all know, very expensive. So invest your time into this, walk away from your executive chair, get on Facebook. What I mean with communicating human is this. You don't have to produce some kind of quality content, some sophisticated stuff. Maybe once a week, whatever you put on your blog needs to be pretty quality, it needs to be based on research, and it needs to be true and rational. But the stuff you put in your Facebook most of the time can be simple, something that a normal person or your customer can relate to. Like, it's raining here in LA, but in our office it's always nice weather. Attach a picture of your smiling, hardworking employees, boom. I can relate to having a good time. I can relate to not having a good weather. Right? So that is common reality. That is something a human being can relate to. When you say we're a great company, we make amazing computers, I'm not a great company and I don't make great computers. Zero common reality. Zero desire to communicate, zero affinity. You see what I mean here? It's actually very simple. You have to walk away from the 80s picture of, big conglomerate and get back to being human. Even your brand, even your company. So the second piece of information that you need to understand about communication is that it happens both ways. Not just you communicating to your customers on Facebook, Twitter, all that other stuff, just because I see it in my newsfeed doesn't mean I like it, doesn't mean I can relate to it, doesn't mean I get it, doesn't mean I want to buy from you. Important thing is that you need to receive communication from your customers. So you need to go and find out where they're hanging out, what they're commenting about. Even if you're doing this by hand, or hire somebody to do it for you, collect that information and start talking about the same things, completely unrelated to your product. This is what we're doing to get some common reality, to raise affinity to the level where they even want to bother to receive your message about your product, right? So you need to be part of their consideration set, as we say in conventional marketing. And to get there, you need to be human. It doesn't matter what you make. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter how long you've been into it. It doesn't matter what size you are. You need to get to their level, which is human. So restaurants, places they want to go for vacation, things they do daily. Post a picture of a cute cat and see how many of your customers are going to like it. Now you know your customers are the fuzzy, cuddly kind. You can post more of these kind of things. But don't put a bunch of crap that's not related to your company. You need to know very clearly what your mission is, what your vision is. And trust me, most companies get it wrong. You know, they put it on their website and they forget about it. It's there because the marketing guy said it's important. But companies like Google and Apple and all the other ones like NASA, all the really successful ones, they know what they stand for, and that's what allows them to attract the right people to work for them and the right people to buy from them. You want to do the same, and you can do it even if you're a 2-people company, a 1-people company. Then it's even more important for you because you want to find those specific people. They really want to relate to you, they really like you, they're going to be really loyal, and then they're going to become your brand advocates and tell everybody else about it. So ask Louis Vuitton if they know about their customers. You betcha. That's why during this session, when all the other luxury brands were taking a dip, they were actually growing 8 or 9% per year. That's really high numbers for 2008, 2009. So these are the people you can learn from. They know everything about their customers. Their customers are very loyal. They don't really have to sweat with discounts. They don't really have to overproduce. They produce the same stuff every year pretty much, charge a bunch of money for it, and live happily ever after. So this is where you want to position yourself. So, third thing I want to mention today is another author, Simon Sinek, who wrote a book called Start With Why. You can watch about him on TED. It's a 20-minute video that explains his concept very easily. You can read his book, but again, who's got that kind of time? So I'll tell you what it is about. He says that based on biology, which I really like, it's a fact, just like this triangle, our head inside is split two layers. The inside one, the core of our brain, is responsible for feelings and emotions, and also decision making. This is what we inherited from animals. This part on the outside is responsible for language and logic, not decision making. And this is how your decision making happens. You travel from the core out. So you make a decision with your feelings and you just feel like this is the right thing to do. Then when you're asked why, you need to speak. So you travel over to this part and you use your logic and your language to communicate it out. And it usually happens in split seconds or even faster, so we don't really see the difference between the two, but it exists. So Simon argues very strongly, I believe, that we need to communicate to this part to get people to buy from us. And this is the why. Your values, your feelings, what you stand for, this is what gets people to relate to you and buy from you. And I will demonstrate you why he's right based on this triangle. Our feelings and emotions is nothing but affinity, because all levels of affinity represent all levels of emotions. Like I already said, fear is also a level of affinity, just really low one. Or like I mentioned in another video, I don't like war, I don't want to be there, so I experience very low level of affinity to it, which resides right here. Okay? So, if you have any kind of level of affinity with your customers, when you increase it, you're influencing this part, which is responsible for decision making, and when it goes up, they're more likely to buy from you, and then they're gonna come up with whatever reasons. It's a good price, it's a nice color, it's good shape, it fits my hairstyle, but they're gonna buy it, and they're gonna keep buying it. And one more thing that he says, that communicating in values is very important because values don't normally change. It is very true. I'm gonna buy from Apple for the rest of my life because I believe in thinking different, and they sold me on that. I don't care what they make. Phones, television, soon, ice skating rings. I'm still gonna buy it because that's what I believe in. And this is what you want to do to get brand advocates. So to recap, you need to decide what you stand for, make it human, in human language, not big words, very simple, very human, very short, and all of your communication from now on should fulfill that one belief. For example, I'm going to buy cosmetics from a company that says we believe that every woman deserves to feel beautiful, rather than from a company that says we're making our cosmetics from the best things, from the minerals from the Dead Sea, blah blah blah. You know, now I have to do all this hard work to understand, are the minerals from Dead Sea, are they good? Do I relate to that? Do I know anything about it? No, zero common reality. But I do want to feel beautiful, and I do feel like I deserve it. Lots of common reality, lots of affinity, very emotional. I'm on it. Please take my money now. You see? This is how you trigger behavior. Then you want to create a lasting effect by communicating consistently through social media and by listening consistently through social media and adjusting your product and your services to what your customers want, or switching sectors or expanding sectors and so on. This is how you can grow your company if you're already pretty successful. All right? So companies that are not doing this, they just don't know any better. You know better now. It's your time to shine. So let me know what you think about this content. If you have any questions or particular situations or companies that you want to discuss, post on my Facebook. I'll be glad to engage in communication with you. And also, if you want to give yourself a real kick in the butt and apply this stuff, you can donate right now, even 50 cents. You'll be automatically submitted to our subscribers list, and you'll be getting all kinds of reminders, actionable things, all kinds of cheat sheets that you can apply to your company and make them very actionable and useful in your life, daily life or business life, and so on. So join us today. I'll be glad to see you in our community. Also, thank you for supporting my cause, Little Girls in Tutus all around the world. If you want to read more about it, you can see it right underneath this video. Thank you, and good luck with your communication.